Dexter plays Duskers from Misfits Attic. Welcome to a new playthrough. We're going to try out some Duskers here. Duskers is a drone management game with some roguelike salvaging going on. It's very aggressive as far as the need to manage your salvage. So that's something we're going to be looking at. I will talk about some of the training as we go through here, but first let's go ahead and jump into the game. We trying to make you take the drone upward? Nope, I'm good. Now, mouse control in this game, watch. Mouse control, it doesn't work. So if you're really ingrained in your mouse control, you're going to have some problems here. It's all keyboard driven. You maneuver using your arrow keys and also command line entries to make things happen. It has this very old 1980s monochrome DOS kind of feel to it. Just go ahead. So we're loading up BIOS salvage vessel class, cargo class. We failed on our diagnostics because we're low on fuel. So whatever's happening, let's send out a distress signal. Clearly, I'm panicking. Nope. So recommended course of action. So Jill here is our AI. And it's saying we should initiate manual contact with vessels and acquire necessary resources for travel. What? Who? Externally modified log detected. Would you like to read? Sure. Summary of primary objectives. Gather intel logs from derelict spacecraft. Gather resources necessary for survival. Search for survivors. If objectives cannot be completed, we recommend you initiate a reset. A reset is just basically a restart of the game. It's the roguelike way of you get to fire back up again, but you do retain difficulties and some knowledge from the last time, but you don't get to retain anything like upgrades or scrap or stuff like that. We start off in this system here. This is our system view. You have three things. You have the universe, the galaxy, and the system view. We'll say the system view at the moment. We'll come back to that in a minute. To go into these things, you can see on the right-hand side, we have the current ship is the Justice Rider. That's us. We have 2 empty slots there. That means I can put in 2 upgrades. I have space for 7 drones. 3 of them are in there. They're highlighted in light blue. It tells me I have 3 drones. Below is the ship that I'm next to or potentially docking with. And it says it's government class C. There's 4 sizes, A, B, C, D in descending order. There's infestation types, which says 0. In this particular case, a 0 means there's nothing on the ship. There's up to 4 different kinds of infestation. That's actually helpful, and we'll come across the times when we'll see that. Age of the ship is 15 years, and it's stable. We're going to go through, I think it's stable, volatile, catastrophic, and fatal. Basically, it's how fast does this ship fail, and you got to leave. So there is a timer hidden behind this. Visited tells me whether or not I've been to this ship before. And then the scrap capacity is how much scrap can it hold. So if we look at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see from the left to right, this is objectives. If I select objectives, it'll tell me what I read to you before. Then it says scrap. I have 2 of a total of 50 possible on this ship. I have 6 propulsion and 2 jump fuel. The jump fuel is used to get from one galaxy to the next. Propulsion is used to move from one ship to the next in system. If you look in the center, you'll see I, X, and U. So if I go I, it'll highlight that ship, tell me what that is. X and U, we'll come back to that here in a minute. But which is important is that number in the lower right-hand corner, which tells me how much propulsion fuel I will use if I go here. I can ideally, I should be able to visit all of these. I believe all of these will be 2 each, and I have 6 fuel, and you could possibly find fuel in a ship, and we'll be able to move again. Before we go in there, let's take a look at the ship configuration. I have an inventory of the number of upgrades that I can hold, and then there's 2 slots for me to install an upgrade. I can uninstall and install upgrades at will from my inventory. I just can't do it during a mission. So I can't have one thing in, board, and swap. I have to swap before I board. So if I want to use something during boarding, I have to have it installed. We're going to go ahead and escape back out of that. Underneath drone configuration, here are my 3 drones. I've got Holly, Hal, and Noah. It'll tell me how many hit points they have, 100, 90, and 70. When things come and attack you, they'll take off hit points. Generally speaking, if something attacks you, you die. So The hit points aren't really that important to keep up. It's not like I'm running it with a roguelike that you know, every time I take a sword hit I want to heal back up, because I you know, it's a hammering thing. I have no damage capability here right now, so if anything attacks me, it can attack me till I'm dead, and I have to move quick to try to get out of the way, hide, whatever. So this is going to be a stealth game mostly. Now there's a couple of other things we can see on these things. If I hit the enter key here, it brings the loadout down. It says I can put things on, take them off. I'm going to go ahead and take some stuff off. I'm going to go through all of these guys and take off everything for the moment, because I want to configure these for specific missions. Number 2, generally I like to have this as the generator guy. Basically what he's going to do is you're going to find ports that you can power up. He's going to go up to that port, he's going to throw in power, and then you can actually do things like open doors, look at interfaces, you know, manipulate things on the ship to some extent. There's not a whole lot about that, but there is some. Next, I want to have my guy who's going to go around and grab stuff. So this guy here, he's going to be the motion dude and the towing guy. So it is possible for me to find a destroyed drone or a damaged drone, and with this I could grab that drone, bring it back into my airlock, bring it back to the ship, and that's how I gain more drones. That's for the towing. The motion is a motion sensor thing, so I can go in and alien style initiate it, and everything next to me will be flagged as to whether or not there's something in there. That leaves me with the first guy, and this guy's going to be my gatherer and stealth. So gather is what I use to get scrap. So if I find scrap in a place, I have to have the gather component to be able to pick it up. It would really suck if nobody had gather, because then I would not be able to get any scrap, and I would quickly end. All right, and then the stealth is a cloaking field, which when it's up, they can't see you, so the critters won't react to you. They can still bump into you, and if they do, they'll go, "Hey, what's that?" and they'll try to kill you. So as long as you stay out of their way, you can use cloaking to your advantage. All right, so now I've done doing that. On the other end of that spectrum is the modify screen, and with the modify, I can come in here and do things to my drones. You can see I can do, if you look over one more, I can repair it to full. I can give it a one-time boost in speed, give it a boost in its HP value, and over time, its video signal is going to degrade to the point where I have to repair it. Okay, so that's those. Here are the upgrades which I just installed, and each of these will degrade every time I use it. When I go into a mission and I use something, it'll flag as being used, and then regardless of how many times I use it during that particular mission, it's been used. And using it will degrade it for that mission. So generally speaking, don't use something if you don't need to, but once you use it, go ham. Next is the ship and its upgrades. So here's if one of my slots fail or start to fail, I can fix it. If I don't fix it and it goes into a destroyed status, I can no longer repair it. It stays that way. This is also a schematic view. We'll see the ship's schematic view and the drone view. These are upgrades. And these are the few things that I can create right now. I can create gatherers, I can create generators, and I can create tows. These 3 things are basic needs to be able to play. If you don't have these things, you cannot survive. All right, so now with all that, if I pick something and then I put it over in the queue, I'd have to use E to execute it and go on. So I'm all ready. I got my drone set up. I've got whatever else going on. I'm going to hit B to board. Do you want to take these 3 drones? Yes, I do. I can take up to 4 and leave 3 in reserve. The reserves can't come in later. They're just sitting on the ship and they're ready for the next time. So if you blow up a drone, you can pull one out of reserve. All right. So with that, I'm going to hit the enter key and board this. Notice again, I'm going to look at the infestation. I'm going to look at the hull integrity, the age. Everything looks good. So we're scanning inconclusive. No infestations detected. That means I don't have to worry about any critters in this particular run. And then we didn't get any kind of messages. Sometimes you will. So let's go on in. So there's a couple of things here. There's an A1 is the door. If I type A1, you can see A1 opens and closes the door. You can also have initial starting stuff, but we won't use that. We're going to just go ahead and do this. And then I can use my drone and navigate it through a command, nav1 to R2, for example, but it doesn't know where R2 is. So I have to go into drone view. There's the drone view. So if I look around, there it is. Whee! I can drive around, do some scrap. So if I type in gather, I can get it. Now I don't have to do that. I can use shorthand for this. Let's see if there's another piece of stuff. Usually there's a door open. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to drive around. I'm looking for more scrap. I hear Bink. I see Ethan. Hello, Ethan. Let's go up here and do a swap. Now let's go take a look at Ethan and see what he's got. He's got a shield and a teleport. Holy crap! All right, I'll take one of those. I can't carry them both. But that's some good stuff. Wow. That is really awesome. We'll have to do something with that. All right, so I looked around with Holly. Let's go over here and grab Hal. We're going to bring Hal in. And this is the generator. You can see it says power inlet, recommend the generator command. I said before you can type in all generator, but sometimes that'll be a real pain in the butt. You don't have to do that. Type in G. Well, there's gather and generator, E, and now look. And I'll just hit the enter. And it goes, great. All right. Well, that powered a bunch of stuff up. I can't see it. I can do turns in place, but if I move too far away from this generator, it turns off. So we'll do that. Okay? But if I hit the space bar, now I get the ship view. That's if you remember before we were looking at ship and drone views, here are the two views. And this is going to show me, I got a little thing in the middle of the screen under R3, that's room R3, where there's a guy. I'm going to go ahead and navigate the third drone into room 3. And I'll move the number 1 out of the way. So you can do both ways. You can navigate from the screen view or ship view, and you can navigate from the drone view. And then if I type in swap, it's going to figure out which one I'm talking about by just saying, well, who do you have? Well, I got 1 and 2 in the same room, so those could be the ones. No, I don't mean you. I mean 3. 3 is not close enough. So we'll go ahead and in the drone view, move him over there and type in swap. And then we'll grab that shield. It's always great. Get all the stuff you can. And I can also do info, by the way. Info. And it'll tell me what's in the room. And it'll tell me that there's the drone Ethan and it's destroyed. I can also do status, which will tell me about the ship. So there we go. And I got a shield up, but I'm not going to be using it just yet. All right. So let's go back here to this view and see what's going on. Now, I know that there's no other critters on this board in the ship, so I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm just going to open up all the doors. I'm going to take one, and we're going to wander around, take a look. Here's that, GA, gather. We're going to look around. So you can kind of get this feel that the view from the drone is giving you a almost an X-ray feel for what's around. Oh, I see something else. What is this? Type in info. Will it tell me there? Yep, it says fuel access point. So that means I can try to gather some fuel. So let's just do some gather here. Okay, I got nothing. And now it's prompting me because it thinks this is my first playthrough, and it isn't, but I reset everything on the game. Alright, so we have looked at all the rooms. We're all done. So I could go back in and okay, let's head over to the airlock. But I'm lazy. I'm going to do navigate all drones into R1. And you can see everybody's going to head to R1. 3. 3. You're an idiot. Drones can be stupid. Alright, everybody's in. Now I'll do A1 just to shut the door out of habit, and then I'll type in exit. And it will come back and say, here's the statistics for that particular run. I picked up 4 pieces of scrap. I didn't get any fuel. I didn't get any propulsion fuel, no jump fuel. And now I've survived for the single day. But I do have 2 more things I picked up, a teleport and a shield. Okay, so now if I go to M for modification, I have things I could do. I could increase my speed because I do now have enough scrap. You can see it takes 5 scrap to do that. I'm not going to do anything there or there. Take a look at the upgrades. Down here you can see that I've used the gatherer on 1 mission, and I have a 0.6% chance of failure. That means that when I go in and I play the round, as I start the mission, it'll do a roll to determine if it fails. But then at the end of the mission is when it fails. So I'm at least guaranteed to run successfully in the mission. You can see it, I didn't use my self field at all. The teleport has been used once before me, and it has a 5% chance for failure. So each of these units have a different rate at which they increase their failure probability. And if you look, it takes 8 scrap to repair this. You probably don't want to be teleporting all over the damn place. And in fact, teleportation requires signals to use. And so you kind of have to be careful about where you are. Typically, you can teleport back to the airlock, to the pod. So it's a great escape mechanism. Generator has gone up by 0.5%. So the generator looks like it's going to degrade fairly slowly. The gather is going to be degrading fairly slowly. I did not use the mission on that one, but I took it. Well, I didn't use the motion, but I took it with me. So I didn't actually start the degradation of that. And I did use the tow, and interestingly enough, it says I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't use the tow. That's right. And then I have the shield that says it's been used 4 times before, and it's at 20% probability of failure. That's pretty high. But to repair it, I'd need 11 scrap. That's a ton of stuff to repair it. So there's a couple of things about shields. Shields will give you more hit points effectively. So if you get attacked, you have longer to react. Generally speaking, unless you've been playing this game for a while, shield won't matter. If something attacks you, you'll be like, "Oh shit!" You'll type, and you'll typo, and you'll try to figure out where you're going to run to, and you panic, and you're dead. So in actuality, I'm going to go in the drone config. I'm going to grab number 3, and I'm going to drop off the shield because I'm not going to use it. It's just not going to happen. Not yet. There's some times when it's actually worthwhile. And one of the upgrades that we saw on it was this radiation shielding. So if a place gets radiated, we might be able to stop that. So let's take a look at the next one. I've talked a lot about the first one. There's nothing going on. There's one infestation there. There's one infestation there. Both of those are stable. They are. And what about P? P is stable, and it has one infestation. All right. Let's go to E. So we're here. I already know I've got my drone set up the way I want, so we'll just go ahead and board. He does have a teleport, which is something I might show you here in a second, but let's go ahead and jump on in. Scanning. Dormant drone found in R2. Great, I can pick up a drone. 1 detected infestation type. So just because it says 1 infestation type does not mean there's one thing. It means there's one thing type. So if I see it, then everything else on the ship will be the same type. There could be 2, 3, or 4 of them, but this is useful because there's times where you're going to come across stuff where it's like, oh crap, do I even want to be in this room? Because there might be an infestation type that's going to come get me. And we'll talk some more about that. This is a size C, and its directive was potentially illicit. Hold has heavy metals, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what we find in here. So there's a preview of where the room is that we're going to go to. I'm not having to move real fast because these are all stable. Well, there's also something called aliases in the game, which gives you ways to create commands. And you can see there's a ZZ, there's an end, a begin, and a Q. The Q one was something I had created before, but we're going to go ahead and type in begin. That's going to open up the airlock A1, move the 2 critters in, and number 2 is going to look for a power inlet and go power it. Done. I could use the motion detection here, and that's what it's trying to indicate to me, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and take a look around for scrap. Hello, scrap. When I see this, I'm gonna grab everything I can as I see it, because events may occur where I have to bug out, and if I have to bug out, I don't want to bug out with stuff still left behind me, but I could have just stopped there in like a second and go pink. There's another generator port. I only have 1 generator. Great. Well, let's nav 3 into R3. Now, when I do motion, I'm going to do a motion here. Motion. It's going to tell me every room that is connected to the room I'm in. So you can see R1 is connected. I'll shut that. Nav 1 to R3 while I talk. It's the green indicates I detect there's clearly nothing in the room. Red is there is clearly a monster in the room, or an infestation in the room. And yellow means I can't see. I can't tell. But I can open a door, like D8. Actually, wait, let's shut that door before. Let's go D4. Nav 1 to R4. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that critter to move from one room into another. Ooh, look at that. Gather all. I got 2 scrap and I've got jump fuel. So he's going to go to the fuel. I got an extra point of propulsion, and that will be saved. And I got 2 that. Okay. Let's go ahead and navigate 1 into R3. R3. Almost tried to move him in the wrong room. Close that door. Open the other one. Now, with the motion, as long as I don't move my drone 3, now I can close that. And you can see critters in the other room. And I can open up that. Nav 1 into R2. Gather all. And he will gather that. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Robbie. Hey, Robbie, how you doing? Robbie's got tow and swap. We can do tow and swap on Robbie. He's got speed boost and he's got a generator. Those are good. I like the second generator option. So we're going to take number 3 here, and we're going to move him. And notice all the see the green lights gone away. First, I'm going to do a swap. Give me that generator, and then I'm going to go ahead and back out and tow him because I'm next to it. I'm going to go ahead and drag him here. I don't have to do that. Go here, nav 3R1, and he will drag. Oh, I did that. I'll open up the door, and the command continues from where it was before. And I prefer to push it all the way to the back corner. Push it around. Tow a second time, and now I stop. I'm going to go ahead and move this around. I kind of like being in this view, personally, over the other one. And now I'm going to move further up. Now, if I go motion here, remember I said go ham, because you already used it, so you might as well. I can see D7 is open, so 1. Keep an eye on the green, because there could be another door open. Gather all. And he's going to keep doing his thing there. And that's 2, so we already know what's in there. So there's nothing else in this room. I'm going to go ahead all the way down to the bottom. Alright. So there's a second generator. That generator in R5 is going to power door D6, and possibly some of the same doors that are powered now. Nav 1 to R1. Now let's talk about critter management. I'm going to close this door D7. What do you do when you've got... You already saw me move a creature type. We don't know exactly which one it is, but you saw me move it from R2 into R4. I can get it to move into R6 as well. Go in there. My friend. When you open a door, the critters go, what's that? And they'll wander to it. It's an automatic exploration thing. Now, if I hit A2, the door may not be powered. But if it is, nope, it's not powered. So I'll have to open D10. Nav 2 to R5. Generator. Excuse me? There we go. And now, if I do A2, bing, and bing. I opened it, I closed it quickly. Why did I do that? Well, when I opened it up, it opened the room to space, and it sucked everything in room 6 out, and it will suck anything else in another room that's open out into space as well. So I just sucked that one guy out. Now the ship is totally clean. Why do I want to do that? I don't get any experience for killing critters. Maybe there's just a moral thing that, it's like, you're going to infest the world, I'm going to kill you all. So this thing is gone. I've done the aliens routine. I've spit it out into space. Anything else in the room, scrap, drones, get sucked out as well, including your own. If you have things like a generator or an interface or a turret or something like that in the room, it is very likely to get destroyed due to the sudden decompression of vacuum by opening it up. Also, if you notice when I did that, the room went yellow. Yellow means that there's a vacuum in the room. So it's just telling you to be careful. Now also notice that door D3 just went red. That's because when I opened it, everything takes a check to see if it's going to get destroyed. If I keep doing this, I'll destroy room door D7. I'll destroy D6 as well. Let's nav all into R1. Or actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and just open A2. There's something else I can do, by the way, as well as if you type in help, it'll give you the basic commands. There is, I believe, under advanced commands, yeah, commandeer. Commandeer means I want to take this ship. So I can look at it and say, well, let's see, I can go from a total capacity of 50 scrap to 35 scrap. I can go from 2 upgrades to no upgrade slots. Well, that sucks. And a total chance to hold P fuel, the propulsion fuel, stays the same at 6 to 6. So this is not a really great switch. But if your ship starts to fail around you, and it will, you'll want to switch ships and commandeer a new one to move on. So, but we're going to go ahead and escape and not do that. I'm going to open up A2, nav all to R1. Now watch room A2. Right now it's just getting vacuumed, right? All vacuum, gone. There's nothing in there. The door failed, and now I see red lines. What the hell's the red lines? The red lines are radiation. So when you have something open to space, or a room takes a hit from an asteroid, it could get flooded with radiation. And radiation, like vacuum, will travel from room to room, but slowly. So if I had D6 open, for example, the room R5 would slowly get flooded with radiation. And then it would go into R3, and then into R2. And eventually the whole ship will end up in radiation and in vacuum, and your drones will take damage if they're in radiation. Of course, they get sucked out if they're in vacuum. So that's another hazard you're going to have to worry about. And in a ship that is less than stable, rooms will fail. And so you'll get an audio warning that something's about to go, and you can start to get the hell out if you want to. But then one of the rooms is going to go. And if you've left a bunch of doors open, bad news. So now that we're done, we're going to go ahead and type exit. Now you can see that the room has completely flooded with radiation. We'll exit. So we got 1 propulsion fuel. We got 7 more scrap. We're at 13. We've survived for 2 days, and we picked up a new drone. Robbie has joined the group. Hello, Robbie. How you doing, Robbie? So now Robbie is going to be in the reserve, and he's got 0 damage. Or he's got damage. So if I wanted to, I could try to swap him in. Control left. There we go. Now he's going to be one of my 4 drones. He's got speed boost on him, but I could do something else with him too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3. I'm going to pull the generator off. We can go to 4, and I can put the generator on. Why am I doing that? And actually, I'm going to take the speed boost off because he's not going to have to be quick about it. So there we go. If there's anybody that needs to be quick, it's number 1. But right now, I think I got him set up the way I like him. He's got his gather on there to gather stuff. I could also just use him as a scout and have somebody else come back in behind him and gather. That's a possibility, but I kind of like having my scout also have gather on it. All right. So we got those guys set up. Let's go over here and take a look at the modifications. And if we take a look at the drones, we can see now that there's a chance to upgrade this one. But if I can also convert him into scrap. But if I go down, I can go over here and repair Robbie. I can put in a point, type in E to execute. It takes away 1 of my scrap, and it gives Robbie 10 hit points. I could repair him to full, but my suggestion, don't. Like I said before, if you got a guy who's going to get hit, you don't get a lot of time. There's a few cases where having a lot of hit points might be good. I mean, if you're in a room that suddenly gets irradiation because of a puncture or something, you'll have more time to get them out. So that's one of the cases where you might want to have more hit points. However, the cost in scrap generally isn't worth it to me, because by the time I've gotten enough collection of scrap, I've already gone to 2 different ships. I've picked up 12 total scrap, and to repair him to full, if we go over here, so that's actually a total of 12 scrap. So every piece of scrap I picked up from the beginning of the game so far would be what I would need to bring him up to snuff. And then I'd have to do that again before I have made my cash back, my scrap back, to be worthwhile. So here's where the scrap management really comes into play. You can use speed as well, and if anybody's going to get speed, I'd give it to Holly because she's my scout. Other than that, I'll just leave it like that, and he's useful. Now, if I go over to upgrades, I take a look at my gather. I've used it twice. I'm at 1%. I didn't use the stealth field, the teleport field, or the generator. The generator I used, so it's at 1%. Now I used the motion detector, and you can see that it's been used once. Its failure rate is 3 times the rate of both the generator and the gatherer. So ideally, I mean, it's tempting to use motion all of the time, but I would suggest holding off on doing that very often. And then we've got that. We've got the generator, which I used twice, and that's fine. I didn't end up using the shield at all, so I didn't get a roll to fail. And I put the speed boost away. Now, I might repair the shield generator at a later point, but we'll see. So now if I take a look here at the ship, we're fine. No ship upgrades. I can go to create, nothing there. So I'm good now. I've done all the repairs I'm going to do. I've done all the modifications I'm going to do. I'm ready to go to the next place, and I think I'm going to hold off on that and do that in the next episode. But that's the first introduction into Duskers. I hope you enjoyed it, and as we get in further, we'll talk some more about what we're doing, including some of the how I'm going to try to manage my scrap. And at some point, I'm going to get screwed. I will either do it to myself or the game will get me. Odds are I'll screw myself over. Come back and watch. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm creeping through the shadows in the corners of your mind. I go with the windows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild. Whispering the name, no I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a